Hello, good evening, everyone. My dear friends, once again, I welcome all of you in today's current affairs. Okay, so today we are in 19th of December 2025. Okay, today I have got some very good news from the Hindu. The articles which I'm going to discuss today are number one, Parliament passes jobs bill in protest, amid protest. Despite being protested, the G Ramji bill has been passed. Okay, guarantee repealing the repealing the Manrega bill. Okay, okay. Then dismantling Manrega will be a historic error. This is an opinion of top economists of the world. Experts from the world are saying that this will be a historical error. Okay, so there are you know all the things discussed, the challenges surrounding the repealing of the Manrega Act. Okay, very good article again. Then Finance Minister tables Securities Market Code Bill 2005 in Lok Sabha. This is related to reforms and easing the norms in the securities market. Okay, securities market means market dealing in the shares, bonds, debentures, etc., etc. Get the point? Okay, temporary relief. What is this temporary relief? Due to the depreciation of rupee, the exports have been recovering. I have already told you export competitiveness may increase due to depreciation of rupee. Get the point? And that has actually happened, and the results of November have shown that. But is it it is a temporary relief, and how will what are its long-term implications? Okay, bold step amid an ambitious nuclear energy target. Okay, the privatization of nuclear sector. Okay, it is a bold step, but where will it land us? That needs to be seen in the later on discussions. This is the editorial which has discussed the same thing. Then also one more thing, retired judges don't want to sit in the Supreme Court as juniors to the serving judges. Then cutting off rural lifeline and the directive principles. This is the repeal of Manrega versus directive principles of state policy. Okay, and Finance Ministry unveils new logo for regional rural banks. So it will be a bit more number of articles are there, but please understand most of the things you already know because I have been discussing the Manrega thing from past 3 4 days. Okay, yeah. Proceeding further. So this is Parliament. Parliament has introduced the bill, or it has passed now. The bill to repeal Manrega. What is the bill? The bill is Viksit Bharat Guarantee for Guarantee for Rozgar and Ajivika Mission Gramin. So in short, it is being called as G Ramji. G Ramji. Okay. Amid all the protests and uproar in the midnight, Lok Sabha managed to pass the bill. Okay. Now, I have already told you what the bill will do. The bill will replace the 20 years old largest scheme of rural employment, that is Manrega. Now, Manrega is replaced by the new scheme G Ramji. Get the point? Yet it is to be published in the official gazette. Moreover, then formal rules are to be notified. But yeah, the repeal bill has been passed by the parliament and it will be sent to presidential assets. Okay. Now, also, what has been highlighted here that it is passed by voice vote. Okay, what is voice vote? Voice vote means when you put a bill to voice vote in the parliament, then the parliamentarians have to say either yes and either no. No means no, and for yes they should a. This is the parliamentary vote. Get the point? So the through voice vote, but experts globally are saying that it will be a historical error. It will be a historical error. The experts include Nobel laureate Joseph Stiglitz. Then also there is Thomas Piketty, Derek Hamilton, Randall Vary, John Galbraith. All these names which I have mentioned here. Okay, these people are saying that removing the Manrega will be the biggest historic error because it is a demand driven scheme. I already told you demand driven means there was no fixed budget. Budgets were increased as per the demands of the work. Okay, moreover, now the budget will be fixed and it will be allocated by the center only. Center has been given overriding powers in the scheme. So therefore, this will be a mistake that you converted a demand driven scheme into a supply driven scheme. Okay, then also it upheld the legal right to employment. Legal right to employment. Okay, legal right to employment. But now you have made center so predominant that center will notify which areas are rural areas. Then number of days, although you have increased 125 days, but I already told you only 9% people were availing the 100 days in totality. Women were the major beneficiaries. Get the point? So therefore, they are saying that if now we have seen bigger challenges in West Bengal. What has happened in West Bengal since past 2 years? There has been no wage payment. Wages have been stopped, plus no material component payment. It means there has been an unexplained temporary pause on funds of NREGA to West Bengal. Okay, which taints the relation between center and state, which is again a threat to federalism. Again, a threat to federalism. Okay, fiscal support to the states. Now, when states were already bearing only 10% of the 10% of the burden, you have put 40% burden on the states. Get the point? So this is highlighted, and moreover, where is the social justice, where is environmental care? You have all those things have not been taken into care in this new bill. This is what critics are opining, and they say that timely wages should be given to Manrega, and also some minor some minor realignments could have been made in Manrega only. Like if you feel 100 days were less, you could have passed a Manrega Amendment Act and you could have increased it to 125 days. Otherwise, the scheme overall was having a great result, not only in providing employment, but also developing small assets. These two articles, very, very important. Okay. Now, in between, you have seen here small article which says the Shanti bill has got Rajya Sabha nod. Means Rajya Sabha has passed the Shanti bill, which has given private sector entry into the nuclear power sector. Okay, private sector, private players were not allowed. It was a monopoly of government players that they were able to manage the nuclear reactors as well as nuclear power plants, everything. Now, private sector will be coming in. What are the advantages? I had discussed in yesterday's class. Okay, then now it has been again passed in Lok Sabha also. So Rajya Sabha also. Now again it will be sent to Presidential Assembly and it will be passed there also. Get the point? Okay. Now cutting a rural lifeline and the directive principle. It is again Manrega. You have repealed this scheme, and where does it stands in terms of directive principles of state policy? Directive principles of state policy, cutting the rural lifeline and directive principles of state policy. Okay. Now, amid all the vote chori debate, people are connecting this Manrega Amendment Act to now right chori debate. It is basically a sort of adhikar chori. Get the point? Now, opposition can say anything, but yeah, certain points in the scheme were wonderful points in Manrega. They are gone. We don't know how they will come in and how the new G Ramji scheme will perform. Get the point? Now, why it is linked to directive principles of state policy? It is linked in relation to Article 41 of the Constitution. Okay, what is this Article 41 of the Constitution? It states that state shall make effective provisions for securing right to work for the citizens. State shall make effective provisions. State shall make effective provisions for securing securing right to vote for citizens. For citizens. Now, the G Ramji bill says that, yeah, we are giving 100 and we are searching for 125 days of work. But where is the funding? You have put burden on states. Then where are the rural areas? Center has said we will identify the rural areas. Then seasonal breaks. What will people do during those breaks? This is also a sort of breach in the right to work. This is where it has been linked with the directive principles of state policy. You know, directive principles of state policy, these were aspirational guidelines for the state to become a welfare state. Okay, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar called it a novel feature. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has called the directive principles of state policy as novel feature, which will strive for welfareistic perspectives of the states. These were the basically pious wishes. Sometimes, you know, in prelims, they ask you who has called the directive principles of state policy as pious wishes. Pious wishes of the constitution framers, how the state shall be run. Pious wishes term was used by one of the socialist members in the Constituent Assembly, K.T. Shah. K.T. Shah. Please remember this for prelims of point of view. KT Shah called the directive principles of state policy as pious wishes. Okay. Now, there is a debate that when this scheme was brought in 2005, it was a long work of past 4 decades with socialistic ideology. Socialistic ideals were there. Socialistic ideals means those ideals which believe that state shall own majority of the things and state shall be the sole welfare distributor for the people, in opposite to the capitalist ideas. Capitalist idea calls that market shall be free, market shall do according to demand and supply whatever they want to do. But socialists say that ample government role shall be there, in order to facilitate the welfare of people. Okay, then they say that left parties joined the UPA, Union Progressive Alliance 2, UPA 2, UPA 1 and UPA 2. Get the point? And then they say that this Manrega scheme was brought in. It was purely a welfareistic scheme, and it gave partial recognition to right to work. But now you have brought this new scheme which has guaranteed more number of days, but you have brought the seasonal breaks against the wishes of people. Maybe people are not working during the breaks time, and you have left them with no option than sitting idle at home. Okay, moreover, the scheme was not compulsory that those who are in agricultural work, they should also come for Narega works. This was not a compulsory thing. Now you have made it compulsory that only during the non-harvesting period you will get the jobs, remaining period you will remain idle. Some people on demand basis came during harvesting period also because they were not having ample scope in agriculture. Get the point? So this is how they have said that you have cut the rural lifeline. This Manrega was a rural lifeline, and you have cut it, and you have also given a dent to directive principles of state policy. Directive principles of state policy. Okay. Now, then they also say that you have also erased one of the fundamental features of the scheme, and that scheme was basically the relationship between center and the state. Federal character was the fundamental feature of this scheme. Okay. Now you have you have given a total shift of burden, financial burden on the states, which have also which have also hit hard the federalistic nature or federal character of the scheme. Federal character of the scheme. You have made the scheme highly centralized. You have given center overriding power. Overriding power. Okay. Now it has also said that this scheme is in favor of the rural rich people. Why? Because rural rich are those people who have huge amount of land available, who have huge amount of agricultural work available. Now you have made people idle during the during the sowing season, agriculture season, cropping season. You have made people ideal. Now they will be exploited by the rural rich for their own works. This is what one criticism, one more added criticism has been given in this. Okay. Then also it has further said that there are ample evidences where poor workers will be victimized by the larger holders of the land in the rural areas. Okay. Now, uh, moreover, you have omitted the name of the father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi, and you have made it. You have given. This is what the critics are saying, that you have given the term G Ramji to appease. This is politics of appeasement, to give some other colors to this scheme when it should have been, it was having a neutral color, having the idea of Gram Swaraj, having the idea of Gandhi's Ramraj. You have basically dented all those things by bringing this scheme. This is what critics, are of the opinion. Critics are of the opinion that all these things are basically in the. So you have cut off the rural lifeline, you have dented the directive principles, you have dented the federalism, you have made poor people vulnerable to the rich rural people who are having great chunks of land. This is wonderful article in terms of criticism of the scheme. If critically evaluate is the question for the new G Ramji scheme, which is going to replace the Manrega. Get the point? Read this article. Wonderful one. Okay. Now, temporary relief, depreciation of rupee. I have already told you depreciation of rupee, depreciation of rupee. Once in one video, I told you only one advantage of depreciation of rupee is increasing in export competitiveness. Means we will be exporting more things. Why? Because our export will become cheaper in terms of global prices. Okay, export competitiveness has increased, and this has been shown in the latest report. In November itself, we have seen increase in merchandise export. Okay, exports grew 19.4%, 19.4% increase in merchandise export, merchandise export in November. Okay, in November. Okay, in last 10 years, no November have seen such big amount of export. $38.1 billion. $38.1 billion. Okay, and also export to US grew grew at 22.6%. Okay, in comparison to November 2024. Now, this article says that this is a temporary relief because of decline depreciation of rupee, because our exports have become cheaper now. Okay. Also, imports have become costlier, so imports have also dropped. So this has lead to basically bringing down the trade deficit. This has helped in bringing down the trade deficit. Trade deficit has come down, but still we have the threat of aftermath, aftermath of 50% tariffs. Okay. Why? Because traders are saying that, okay, for temporary period, we are absorbing the shock of 50% tariffs. But already for January 2026, we have seen decline in the orders for exports. Okay. Moreover, we depreciating rupee is helping us to increase export competitiveness. But today again, rupee has gained slightly. Okay. When rupee gains more, then definitely exports will again come down. So better it is to search for a permanent solution to resolve the conflict with USA, to resolve the issues, and to sit down and sign up a proper deal with the United States of America. Okay, now government is consistently saying that definitely very soon we are going to strike a deal, but how much time this very soon will take, it is uncertain. So uncertainty is still there. Okay, most prudent way is that we should hope for the best, but we should prepare for the worst also. Maybe exports get hit, maybe imports increase again. That's why recently government is also trying to enhance its trade partnership across the globe. Recently, comprehensive economic partnership agreement was signed with Oman also 2 days ago. Get the point? So please try to relate these articles. Then only you'll find current affairs so wonderful. Get the point? So this was an editorial for you. Okay. A bold step amid ambitious nuclear energy targets. What is bold step? The bold step is privatization of nuclear energy sector. Bold step is privatization of nuclear energy sector. Now, in this article, what we have observed, R.B. Grover, a professor, and also he's a member of Atomic Energy Commission. He has given wonderful relation between energy and energy and the index which measures human development at the global level, that is human development index. He says that all those countries which have good energy supply in their countries, they rank very good in human development index. Human development index ranks countries, gives a score of 0 to 1. Closer to 1 means more level of human development, closer to 0 means less level of human development. India is uh, zero point 0.6 to 0.7. India is hovering somewhere here. Okay, we will see when Human Development Report of 2025 is released, Human Development Index. Okay, it is published by United Nations Development Program. This is some basics. Okay, it basically catches three things. It catches three things. Okay, health, education, and per capita, GNI per capita, gross national income per capita. GNI per capita. Okay. Now, this all shows the welfare of the people. Okay, but all these sectors are so very well connected to basically energy sector also. Okay, so these people have now the relation between human development index and health, education, per capita income, and energy. It is very, very important because per capita GNI per capita income will also reflect how much energy consumption is being done. That is final energy consumption, FEC, final energy consumption. Okay, and energy consumption cost will depend what sort of energy we are using, what cost of energy we are using. Okay, now India is consistently seeing that the developed countries, developed economies, high human welfare economies have a GNI, have HDI score of zero point 0.9. Now it says that to achieve this score of zero point 0.9, India needs to generate about 24,000 TWH, terawatt hours, 24,000 terawatt hours per annum. Per annum. Annually, India needs to generate 24,000 terawatt hours of electricity. Terawatt hours of electricity. Okay. This much of electricity is to be generated. Okay. Sorry, this much of energy is to be generated, first of all. Out of this energy, 64%, 60% will be used for electricity. 60% will be used for electricity. Then remaining will be used for uh, generation of hydrogen in electrolyzers. In electrolyzers. Then hydrogen is required to decarbonize the various sectors. To decarbonize steel, fertilizers, plastic, etc. These sectors need to be decarbonized. That's why we need hydrogen also. And 24,000 terawatt hours of energy, we will use this much for electricity, and this much will be used as a decarbonizer. So then only we can say we are going towards sustainable development. We are going towards sustainable development. But interesting point to note here is that we if we go by the current pace, it will take us 4 decades. It will take us 4 decades. So therefore, we cannot wait for 4 decades. Therefore, we need to expand our harnessing potential. Therefore, we need to bring private sector in energy harnessing sector. So therefore, it is saying that we need to decarbonize the energy mix. Okay, what is the energy mix? Energy mix is basically we have hydro energy, we have wind energy, we have solar energy, then we have nuclear energy. Now, being geographically at a disadvantage, hydro and wind energy potential, whatever potential we have, we are close to maximum potential. Okay, no, limited potential. Okay, we are basic, and these are intermittent sources. Hydro, solar, these are intermittent sources because climatic changes, summers, winters, also the water flows, monsoon driven, etc., etc. So these are basically intermittent sources. So the permanent source we can resort to match the gap between demand and supply of the energy is that we should go for the nuclear power. Okay, so nuclear power plants are those, one term has been used in this article, and that term is called as base load energy. base load Base load generation capacity. Now, nuclear power has the base load generation capacity. What is base load generation? Base load generation means the generation of energy does not depend upon any season or any time of the day. Solar energy during daytime, no solar energy during night time. Hydro energy more during monsoon time, less during normal years or dry seasons. Okay, wind energy very less scope. So nuclear energy has the capacity of base load generation, means generation in all times and seasons. So that's why it is a sustainable solution. But again, it was very much regulated, highly regulated. Okay, that's why we have brought the Shanti Bill, which has said Om Shanti to monopoly of the government sector in nuclear power plants, in nuclear sector. Okay, so this article highlights that the Shanti Bill is a bold step, very bold step. Okay, because there were so many acts also: Atomic Energy Act 1962, Civil Liabilities of Nuclear Damage Act 2010. They have completely monopolized it to the government sector only. Okay, so here I can also see a question for your mains examination in this article. Please write this question. I'm writing the question here. Please try to answer this question. The question is from this article only, that India needs ambitious targets and bold steps. India needs ambitious targets ambitious targets and bold steps in energy sector, energy sector to become a developed country, to become a developed country. Discuss. This is how UPSC asks questions from newspaper. Okay, what is ambitious target? The ambitious target is that we have decided to increase our to attain our nuclear energy production. Okay, nuclear energy production we have decided to increase manifold, but at the same time, it was severely under the monopoly of the government regulated sectors. Now we have brought it into the private sectors. The target is 100 gigawatts of nuclear installed capacity. An ambitious target of 100 gigawatts of nuclear installed capacity. Installed capacity by 2050 or mid of 21st century. Ambitious target, and also this is basically a bold step, privatization of the nuclear sector. Safety concerns need to be looked after, they may be looked after. Also, the liability law, the liability clause, limiting the liability of the operators up to rupees 3,000 crores. This is also a critical point, which I have discussed in yesterday's article. If you have not seen that, please go and watch that video also. Yesterday, I also discussed on this wonderful article. Get the point? Okay. Now, retired judges don't want to sit as junior in junior ad hoc judges. This is in relation to pendency of cases. Okay, nearly 19 lakh cases pending in high courts, pendency in high courts, and around 13 lakh cases pending beyond 1 year, pending beyond 1 year. In this scenario, Supreme Court is authorized to bring in retired judges as ad hoc judges, to bring in retired judges as ad hoc judges. Which article of the Constitution says that Supreme Court judges can be brought in as ad hoc judges? It is Article 224A of the Constitution. Article 224A of the Constitution says retired judges can be brought as ad hoc judges, and they can serve as ad hoc judges for a disposal of the pending cases. Okay, but now when government invites the retired judges to sit in the panel for disposal of the cases, retired judges get into an awkward position. Awkward position because majority of the judges are senior and retired. Now they have to sit with the serving judges as juniors. This is an awkward position which has been said. Okay, now in totality, across the high courts, the sanction strength is 1122, 1,122 judges. This is the sanctioned strength. This is the sanctioned strength. Sanctioned strength. Okay. But what is pending? The pending is appointment around 298 vacancies. You are not fulfilling all the vacancies, and you are calling retired judges to sit as juniors to the serving judges, which is against their portfolio and against their position. So they get into awkward position. Many judges have shown reluctance to this. So there, here two, three things are to be noted. Which articles deals with retired judges serving as ad hoc judges? Number one. Number two, a problem of judiciary, that is pendency of cases. And number three, the problem of judiciary, that is in terms of pending vacancies in the judicial system. In judicial reforms, you can adjust this data. Okay, proceed further. Finance Minister tables Securities Market Code Bill. Finance Minister tables Securities Market Code Bill. Okay, what is the purpose of this bill? This bill will unify three laws. This bill will unify three laws dealing with securities market. There are primarily three laws dealing with securities market. Okay. What is securities market? It is the secondary market in which securities are bought and sold. Securities are traded. Yet, and investment is raised by the companies, firms from the share by the sale of shares or bonds of their companies. Get the point? Now, the bill proposes to unify three laws. What are those three laws which are proposed to be unified? These laws are Securities Contract Regulation Act of 1963, SCRA, Securities Contract Regulation Act of 1956. Then SEBI Act of 1992, Securities Exchange Board of India. SEBI Act of 1992 and Depositories Act of 1996. Depositories Act of 1996. These three laws are to be unified into one code that is called as Securities Market Code. Okay, that is called as Market Code. No doubt, it is a much needed reform because in securities market there are a huge number of issues which need to be settled. Okay, the biggest issue faced is basically whatever error you commit in the securities market that is dealt as a criminal act. Okay, now this market code is making the various commissions of errors from criminal to civil. From criminal to civil. These will be now civil uh, uh, acts, not criminal acts. Okay, and penalty for the civil violations are lesser as compared to criminal laws. So the civil penalties are going to be introduced. Civil penalties are going to be introduced, and majority of the errors or majority of the mistakes in the security markets are to be brought under the civil list. Number one, then the Securities Exchange Board of India. SEBI, which is the regulator of the securities market. Okay, SEBI is the regulator of the securities market. Currently, SEBI has how many members? SEBI has nine members. Currently, SEBI has nine members. Okay, SEBI has nine members. The new code says that we will make it a bigger body of 15 members. We will make it a body of 15 members. SEBI will be made a body of how many members? 15 members. Okay, out of which chairperson plus two ex officio member. Chairperson plus two ex officio members will be appointed by the central government. Will be appointed by central government. Okay, chairperson plus two official members. Okay, one member will be from RBI. One member will be from RBI. Okay, then the other 11 members from whom at least five will be whole time members. Now, one, two and one, three and four. Four members, remaining 11 members. Out of 11, five will be whole-time members, whole-time or full-time members, and remaining six may or maybe part-time ex officio members. Part-time ex officio members. So it will be a bigger body. Larger consultations will be held out in the Securities and Exchange Board of India. Okay. Currently, there are only three whole-time members out of the nine. Out of the nine members, only three whole-time members. Now we are going to make more whole-time members, like five here, whole-time member, yes, and chairperson also a full-time member, and ex officio members, three ex officio members, one from RBI, two nominated by government. This is going to be the composition of Securities and Exchange Board of India if the Securities Market Code Bill gets through in the Parliament. Get the point? So this article is also one of the good articles. Okay. Last article. Finance Minister unveils the logo for regional rural banks. I only want you to understand what are regional rural banks and why finance minister wants this logo. Okay, why? What is the purpose of bringing this logo? Regional rural banks first time were established in 1975. They were given legal status through Regional Rural Bank Act 1976. This is the parent act. Okay, now Regional Rural Bank were recommended by Narsimham Committee on Rural Banking. They were recommended by Narsimham Committee on Rural Banking. Narsimham Committee on Rural Banking. Okay. And what was the purpose of these banks? These banks were to strengthen rural economy by providing credit and banking services to people in the rural areas. People in the rural areas. Okay. Now, gradually, regional who owns regional rural banks? There is a shareholding between three entities. Please remember, very important. Central government 50%. 50% ownership by center, and 15% ownership is by concerned state where they are established. Concerned state where they are established, 15% ownership. 35% ownership is by one bank which is sponsoring the regional rural bank. That is called as sponsor bank. Okay. The first regional rural bank was established was Pratham Bank. Pratham Bank was the first regional rural bank which was established in Muradabad, UP. Muradabad district of UP. Muradabad district of UP. You get the point? They are regulated mainly by Reserve Bank of India under Banking Regulation Act, regulated by Reserve Bank of India under Banking Regulations Act of 1949, and they are supervised by NABARD, supervised by National Bank on Agriculture and Rural Development, NABARD. Main purpose is to give credit to rural people. 75% of their adjusted net bank credit must form the rural loans and in the priority sector. Get the point? Now, interesting to note here is that they got expansion, rapid expansion of rural, regional rural banks. Due to rapid expansion, there was basically problem of management and there was poor performance. But then government started consolidation. Government started consolidation of regional rural banks. Okay. Now the latest fourth phase of consolidation was going on. Okay. Now the consolidation began in 2005 onwards. 2005 onwards, the consolidation started. Okay. Then 2005 to 10 first phase, 10 to 13 second phase, 13 to 15 third phase, 19 to 21 fourth phase. Oh, sorry, phase fourth, 25 onwards, 19 to 25 fourth phase. Get third phase. Get the point? So why we want one logo for all regional rural banks? We want one logo because one nation, one state, one regional rural bank. This is our uh, current scheme of regional rural banks. Okay, so we have consolidated majority of the regional rural banks, and now we are left with only 26 regional rural banks, almost one in every state, almost one in every state, barring few, because some of the regional rural banks are uh, in multiple states, like in totality in 11 states and UTs. We have in totality how much? 26 regional rural banks, and we are doing consolidation of the regional rural banks. Okay. So, yeah, this is all we need to do for today. Thank you so much in this phase. And tomorrow I will bring up further more classes, further more current affairs, and we will discuss much in details what remains in news tomorrow. Please be continuous. You will wonderfully love the discussions, and you will also gain a lot of knowledge. And you will be able in a comfortable position to write answer about mains, and you need not to worry about the current affairs after these discussions. Thank you so much.